it going today? We're out here today in the woodlands of upstate New York on this beautiful day. Not such a beautiful day. It's drizzling rain. There's heavy wet snow on the ground. About 40 degrees, so not too bad in temperature, but I wanted to get out today and just kind of do a short scout, take you guys along with me. What I'm actually doing today is I'm trying to gather up some pieces for a new bow drill set. Going to be doing some bow drill tutorials coming up shortly here. And although all the material out here is going to be soaking wet today, I'm going to have to let it dry out for several days and you know, bring it inside, keep it dry or whatever I got to do. But I just kind of wanted to get out to this area that I go to quite a bit, get a feel for what's out here and what's available. It's mostly white pines. I can show you almost everything is white pines. You can tell it's white pine. One, because most of the trees around here have very dense, thick, coarse bark, and there'll be white stains running down most of it. Of the bark, which is the sap. White pines are notorious for having the white stains of sap running down because they try to push the sap to the outside of the bark wherever there is an injury, or if a woodpecker pecks a hole in it, that'll immediately send the sap to the point of injury or penetration to try to seal the wound, so to speak. And it shows up like a really creamy white substance that will white pines show it the most out of all of them. So there's tons of white pines. The other dead giveaway for a white pine is you'll see a lot of the little needles on the stem hanging around and on the forest floor. And if you pull off one of these little pieces, each one of the little pieces that you pull off will have exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 needles. They grow in clusters of 5 needles always. This is a smaller, but they get up to about 3 inches long. So yeah, we'll be doing once spring kicks off and the leaves are coming back around and the buds are out. We plan on doing a couple big episodes on tree identification and uses, but this is kind of a little precursor to that, trying to do the best I can identifying trees with no leaves. But what we have here in front of me is a little bit rare for this area, but I'm almost certain that this is a beech tree. Beech trees are notorious for having completely smooth, tight bark. Very similar to maples, to the softwood maples. But the dead giveaway is this is a beech leaf. Large 3 to 4 inch football shaped leaf with sharp serrated edges. So the combination of completely smooth bark and this leaf, actually there's another beech tree actually behind the camera too, so maybe they are a little common around here than I thought. But I'm about 98% sure that this is a beech tree. Beech wood is very, very hard, a very tough wood. It's really good for long duration burning. I'm going to try to harvest a few pieces of this to make up some components for my bow drill set. Now all you other bushcraft and survival enthusiasts out there could be watching this and saying, what are you doing beechwood for? You know, I don't know. But I do know that beechwood burns well. And I figure I might as well try everything. There's not too much in my area. You know, I would like to find a nice, you know, a black willow. Black willow is one of the best things to construct your bow drill set out of. Not really any of those around this forest that I've seen. So this beech tree is where I'm going to start. I'm going to try to cut a hearth board and I think even a spindle out of this dead beech. And I'm just harvest the wood for now, and then let it dry out, and then we'll see what we can get. But yeah, maybe beech will work, maybe it won't. I don't know. I've tried a plethora of different soft and hardwood combinations, soft on soft, hard on hard, and I've gotten different embers from different combinations, and we'll try. We'll try with this beech wood. hearthboard piece. Got to clean it up a little bit, but it'll do. And another possible specimen here as well. Yeah, this is hard. Alright guys, I apologize if the lens is getting water on it, but we're going to try to clean this up a little bit. Kind of process it up to get it a little bit more nice and flat. Nice flat board for our hearthboard. This is the semi-processed fireboard. You want something in the vicinity, I mean, I prefer something in the vicinity of about a 1/2 inch, give or take. 1/2 inch is a good place to start. I think this wood could even be a little thinner because this is a super hard chunk, like I said, of beech wood, which is going to create a lot of friction. So you could get away with having something a little smaller if it's hard like this. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I actually created my little depression where the end of the spindle will go. Just kind of marking out where I want it. And again, I gotta let these dry out a little bit, but this is where I'm gonna start. This is my hearthboard. And continuing on, we got some other pieces to harvest. Piece of beech that I'm gonna use for my spindle. You usually want to pick something about the same diameter as your thumb is a good place to start. And they can be longer, or they could even be shorter than this, but I find that if you keep them a little bit shorter, usually under a foot like this, gives you a little bit more, it's a little bit easier to keep it from tipping on you and wobbling. It just feels a little bit more stable going a little shorter. So go ahead and process this up, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Alright, this is the piece I selected for my bow. You can see it's got a nice arc and a little V-notch in the top to kind of get my string tied. Nice little area here. You want to select something, this is a little longer than I need, but you usually want to select something that's from your armpit to the tips of your fingers. So this is a little bit longer than I need, but it'll do just fine. And again, this is birch wood, or beech wood, so it's super strong. This is not going to flex at all. This is a perfect candidate for a bow. Usually when you're selecting your bow, you definitely want something that's a super hardwood, that's super strong and tough. So this is a perfect candidate for a bow. Before we go, or at least before I hike out of here, because I am soaked to the bone, I got one quick thing I want to show you. Off spot here. Just going to show you real quick. Now, I've got a couple pieces of fatwood with me, if I'm not mistaken. Now we'll just grab that guy for now. This is some fatwood that I've harvested a couple days ago. We'll talk a little bit more about what fatwood is and how to harvest it and where you can find it. But this is actually just a very resiny, sap and pitch-filled section of a softwood pine tree, right at the base of a branch, right where it intersects with the main trunk. a lot of this sap will collect. It'll have an orangey color, kind of have a turpentine kind of smell. Super, super flammable. Really, really good wood accelerant, natural accelerant, if you can find it. But I just want to give a quick demo if I can do this. Get some of these shavings, which could be a little tedious, but try to use the spine of my knife rather than the blade. It's a very efficient way to dull your blade with sideways motion. I don't know if I'll be able to do this, but with it being so wet out here, but I did it yesterday, and we'll see if we can get this to work. It's got a very, very pungent, piney, turpentine smell. And it carves pretty hard. It's essentially, I don't know, kind of petrified wood, I guess you could say. It's kind of got that kind of feel. Now, normally that would be plenty if it wasn't totally damp out, or totally soaked out. I'll give this a try. There you go. Totally, I mean, it is as wet as wet gets outside. And really, really efficient stuff. But yeah, that was second strike. And obviously, if I had stuff prepared, we could have a nice roaring fire. And it is raining out. I'm literally started this on a damp, I mean, a completely saturated, moss-covered dead log, and it's raining. And you can see the results if you harvest good fat wood and get a nice strike on it. And you can see that's how you know it's a really good piece of super resiny pitch-filled fat wood. Is the really thick black smoke means it's chocked full of resin. And this little piece alone, this will probably burn for 10 minutes. So fat wood, a very useful tool if you can find it. I try, whenever I see a candidate for it, I try to harvest it even when I'm not using it and just carry it with me. But very useful tool. All right, folks, we are home now, out of the rain and cold, and I'm actually going to do a brief demo on how to get your ember started with bow drill method, but obviously not going to get a fire going on this video. We'll save that for another day coming up here when we can actually do the full process outside. But I'll show you what I've done since I saw you last. Is I actually burnt in this spindle. You can see that burnt in real nice. And I actually turned it upside down. I thought I was going to use the broad end, but it worked a lot easier the other way. So I flipped the script on that. So that perfectly matches the depression in the hearth board. And after I burnt it in, I carved the notch, which just about goes to the center of the notch. So all of your smoking dust embers are going to collect right in that notch onto this piece of birch bark that I got. And also the hand brace, which I carved out a nice big divot that this fits into perfectly, and I just rubbed some vegetable oil in there to help with the lubrication and speed process. Now onto the bow. Just a simple piece of paracord with a bowline knot that fits into a notch on that end, and then I just for the premises of this video did a very ugly just wad of a couple of half hitch knots just to get those hooked on that V crotch, and we'll be right back and we'll see if we can get some smoke and dust happening. This all on camera without doing multiple takes. Make sure my paracord's in that notch ready to go. And you just kind of twist this in like so. Actually, I'm going to turn this way a little bit. Get your foot on there, keep it nice and stable. Pretty good chance I'm going to knock over the tripod trying to do this. Push your hand brace on there. Not quite. If I kept going, we would have had it. But if I just kept doing that for like another minute, we would have had it. I use this beech wood, it's super hard, so that process is a little bit more strenuous, as you can no doubt tell from my huffing and puffing. We'll give her one more shot just so you can see the mechanics of it. We got it. Well, it kind of went out, but we did get an ember. Whew, that takes a lot of calories. But we will, like I said, on another day we will we'll put this to use on some tinder. But we actually did get a smoking ember for about 5 seconds there. It's just a matter of building up a nice mound that's hot enough that secures the ember in it. But pretty happy with it. Alright guys, that about does it for this episode. Hopefully you learned a little bit of insight on how to put together a basic bow drill set. And like I said, once we head out there and do an overnight, the next overnight's probably going to be in the next couple of weeks. We'll actually put more of these bow drill components together and actually try to get something started with a little tinder nest and further our exploration of primitive fire making methods together. But hopefully you found some of the tidbits in here useful. And if you got any questions or comments, just put them in the put them below. And we will see you on the next Bear Trout Backcountry. Please subscribe and check out our Instagram too while you're at it. Thanks, guys.